Check. Yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I go by the name of Clifford Sykes, aka the Uptown Supervillain, aka your cousin Cliff Talking Ish, and this is Driving in the Right Lane, coming to you guys from Sandbox Productions. What it do, what it is, what's cracking. Been a couple weeks, a lot going on, work, things of that nature, but we right back like four flags from the Cadillac. Got my man Swaggy T with the productions, doing his thing as per usual. Yeah, let's get right to it. We do the mental health check right here, so I'm going to jump right into it because I'm going to try to segue into one of my topics with what's going on. So, again, new listeners, anybody that has listened, we do something where we check in with mental health as far as like how are you feeling, what's going on, what are you seeing, and if you can't tell, I work for a certain transportation authority, and with my current employer, it's a lot going on that has just been making waves and going public, all because of Twitter. Thank goodness I live like in this society or an era where things are transparent now and things can't be hidden, things can't be closed off. Literally, with like in the last 72 hours, like just a multitude of stuff's come out as far as like there's a serial killer. Like they legit, a young man just turned himself in, 20 years old, killed. They know for a fact he has milled with a K 3 people, but they think he's done up to 7 people. Now, my company hasn't said anything about it, but I found all this out through Twitter. There have also been a rash of altercations with female employees that the company's not making public. It's a lot of stuff. So for me, and how does this tie into my mental health? This is going to sound super whack because we're taught as men to not think like this, but I don't feel protected. And that can go into another myriad of like things as far as a black man, not being protected in society, not feeling protected in general. So that kind of weighs on me. When I come into work, I literally have to think, I have to play defense when I come into work. And that's something I'm accustomed to as a black man because as black men, we're not taught to play offense. We're taught to play defense. I don't have the basketball. I can't go and make a decision. I literally have to figure out how can I defend myself from police, random people, just stupid things that happen in the world and where I live. So for me, it's weird, man, because this multi-billion-dollar company or entity is fully aware of this stuff, and you're still putting employees and putting them in harm's way. You're not having police. There's again protection. That's going to be the word. That's probably going to be the title of the episode. Protection. It's just not there, and I work literally in the smack dab of all the craziness you can think of. Training some people last week. I had 2 trainees. I'm gonna try not to curse as best I can because I got to get better at doing that. But I fucking hate training people. Like I literally hate it. Not so much of like the people that I'm dealing with. It's just the fact that what I do and where I work at, that will make or break you. And it's nothing to like boast about. It's nothing to brag about. But literally, if you can make it where I'm working at my station, you can make it anywhere in this company. And par for the course, it's unfortunate, people fall on the train tracks. On an everyday, I see 4 to 5 people fall on the train tracks. I'll say out of the 5, one of them might be sober. The other 4 are definitely under the influence of the Fetty Wap, the dog food, the white girl, whatever you want to call it. They didn't smoke or shot something. But again, that's par for the course. So this also ties in with mental health, just seeing this, and I have to explain this to someone as young as 19, someone as old as 48, and for them, it's a big shock. It's a culture shock, and it's one of those things where if you don't work for my company and I tell you what I see on a day to day, you would think I'm selling you wolf tickets. Like, get the fuck out of here. And it's just like, nah, champ, this is what happened. So, for instance, last Thursday, I don't know what was going on, but the energy and everything was just off down there. You can tell when it's going to be like a bad day. Young woman, didn't pay. Here's another thing, too, the trippy part. You know how many people I see just jump like the turnstile? Like they don't pay, like $250, and then you'll get 10 people that don't pay, and then one person comes up and they try to pay, and the machine doesn't work. And the cashiers that make, let's say, $35 an hour, I'm going to put their periods out there. They make $35 an hour, and they sit and don't do a thing. They walk over and try to get some assistance from the cashiers. The cashiers hit them with the meme. I got nothing for you. So then that's just energy coming out in the universe. Then they decide not to pay because this kiosk that you have doesn't work. It creates more issues. But nonetheless, the young lady walks on. You can tell she's on something. And what you notice the most there is people dip where they look as if they're asleep. That's usually a fentanyl or a heroin high because they never fall over. Richard Pryor talks about it like they just don't fall, and it's amazing to watch. The balance, everything else. The guy's new. He's in his third week of training. I've been at this job for 11 months now. My year is August 23rd. Bitches, I get a raise. I get to make that money. But for some reason, we actually get into this conversation. What's the craziest thing I've seen? And I said the craziest thing I've ever seen was I saw a guy jump in front of the track. Not fall. He jumped in front of the train. Train hit him. The guy didn't die. Then literally about 6 minutes after everything had calmed down, they moved the train, got the guy out. There was a shootout across the platform where an undercover cop got shot. And it's just like, that's something out of a movie. Like, you can't prepare for that. That's the craziest thing. So we had noticed the young lady walk in. She walks up on the platform. She comes down on the other side. We were on the west end. She's on the east end. So that gives you better alignment, a better directional latitude, I guess, for what you can vision. And for some reason, I turn around and I look and I said, you know what's crazy? If somebody falls tonight, it's about 8:59 at this time. It'll be her because she was over the yellow line and she kept dipping and dipping and dipping. He's like, you sure? And I said, I'm not wishing it, but if anybody's going to fall, it's going to be her. Around 9:06, all you hear is, and here's the chilling part about all this. When someone falls in the tracks, it makes a noise. Like, it's like taking a hollow bat and hitting a piece of metal. Boom! That's the noise you hear. But when I turn around, I see the young lady just fall, and I swear to you, she broke some ribs. Because she was a tiny thing, and the way she fell on the tracks on her ribs. And I sprang to it because for me, I'm a sucker when it comes to like assisting women because that's somebody's daughter, that's a mother, that's a, you know what I'm saying? It's a woman. A dude, look here, you fat fuck, dumbass. We're going to make the phone call. We'll stop the trains. We'll kill the power. I'm not rushing over. You kind of let them sit in their own stew and sober up. It sucks. They don't realize that we can make a phone call. You kill the power. You kill the trains. And that's in theory because sometimes this happens, not a lot, but sometimes those calls don't go to the trains where the trains get the message to stop. They're past a relay where there's signs, where there's a red, there's a white, there's flashing colors to let them know, hey, be advised, something's going on. They don't get those calls. But a majority of the time, it is consistent. When you make the call, the trains get it. So I spring into it. I yell at the cashier, make the call, do this, do that. He looks at me, makes the call. So in my mind, we're Gucci. It's no train coming. So I know. Get on the other side. Now, as I'm walking up the steps, random dope fiend decides to jump in the track and get his hero on. Here's the thing that people don't know. When you ride the orange line, which is the Broad Street line, the third rail is underneath the platform, right? When you're on the blue line, which is the Market Frankfurt L, the third rail is in the middle. It's visible. The guy didn't realize that. So I'm hoarse in my voice. I actually sound quite appetizing right now. I sound very well if I can say that myself. The reason why my voice is so hoarse is because I had to yell at this guy that jumped in and wanted to play hero ball. I understand what he was trying to do, but he didn't read the room. He didn't understand where he was at and what he was looking at. He decides to jump. He was about less than 3 feet away from the third rail. And he wanted to just, in his mind, I'm going to step on the third rail and get over there. And I see him, and all I do is just start yelling. I forgot what I said, but it was like, yo, stop taking steps. I'm, again, trying not to curse, but that's just what the fuck I do. Yo, chill the fuck out. You can't fucking go any further. And the guy's like, you're taking too fucking long. And I said, yeah, you can't touch that. That's the third rail, but I'm yelling this. And the guy's like, what? He's processing as I'm yelling to him about the third rail. Like, third rail, it's behind me. No, champ, read that. It says, danger, 8,000 volts. You touch that, I'm going to have 2 assholes in the track. One of them, I'm going to save. The other one, shit shut down. Literally, the city of Philadelphia will be affected by you. That's how crazy this is. So the guy processes. He finally gets out of it. I walk, come down, hustle over. There's about 3 people on the other side, dope fiends, of course. My days of jumping in the track are over. I ain't doing it. It's dirty as shit down there. I'm not jumping in that shit. So I look and I'm like, look, y'all two jump down, grab her by her legs, push her up. I'll grab her arms, lift her on the platform. We good. Well, what about the trains? Don't worry about that. Just jump down there. They jump down. As soon as these dudes jump down, the young lady puts the theatrics on. I need medical assistance. No, you need detox, sweetheart. That's really what you need. Like, this isn't the time to do this right now. We know you need some assistance. They're on their way. But the sooner we get you out, the better we can get you, and the sooner we can get you to somebody. So the guys lift her up. I grab her by her arms. We pull her up, and I get her over to yellow. I help the guys up. They're like, yo, thanks. One of those like, all right, we still have some faith in humans. Like, we did it. Black, white, Asian. Here we go. United Nations. Captain Planet, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So looking over, she's like, I think I broke my ribs. I think I broke my ribs. And in my head, it's like, you're lucky that's all you broke. You're lucky you're talking. But cops come, paramedics come. Here's the kicker, and this ties into mental health. Here's the fuckery of it all. Cops come. How are you, sweetheart? She's like, I'm fine, this, that, and the third. I don't feel good. I'm tuning in and out. Literally, they ask her, does she want medical attention? Guess what she says? Hell to the no. No, I don't want medical assistance. You just said you needed medical assistance when we got you in the tracks and got you out. Now you realize, oh, I can't go get that dog food. I can't go get my Fetty and get high. Nope, you're going to give me something actually to sober me up and get me sick. No, I don't want any parts of that. And the cops are looking like, wait, look at your body. Like I'll say about 5'3", 107 pounds, like a tiny woman. She had like this whelp like wrapped around her body. That's how small it was. And in my head, you broke something. Right now, you're still high of what you had, and your adrenaline is through the roof. When you go lay down or you pass out from whatever you take and you wake up the next morning, you are going to have the pain of God, Jesus, Satan, everything all on your body, and there's nothing you can do about it. The cops looked at her. You sure? She said, yeah, paramedics came. They got her to the other side. I disappeared, kind of like detached myself from what was going on and was just like thankful. Like, look, God, thank you for having me outside. Thank you for having me around because I don't know what happened. If I didn't do what I did, a guy would have got evaporated from the third rail. She wouldn't have got picked up. So it was one of those things where I have to like check myself and ground myself about being where I am and having the cognitive space to understand, react, do this, do that, and actually taking my training serious. A bigger thing with us was when we were getting trained, nobody realized that the stuff that they were showing us, you're going to use this shit more than you want. And just thankful for that. Come out from my room, getting ready to go. I walk over and I look towards the elevator. I see the same young lady. She literally has like baby wipes or like a wipe, and she's wiping her side off. And that whelp or whatever the mark was wrapped around her body. And she was just like talking to somebody about trying to get a package. Blew my mind. That's what happened last week. Then again, I'm being redundant now, fast forwarding to this week. Multitude of attacks, serial killer, ape that with the R. He's running around. Something happened at 4:30 in the morning at Racing Vine last night. And it's just, I don't feel protected. I really, really don't. So, you know, I'm not really at the best right now. This is becoming more and more therapeutic for me, being able to talk about it and put information out. It's not a knock about my company. It's not a knock about that because this isn't an authority problem. And I think that's the big message that people get misconstrued that, oh, this is a authority problem. It's not. It's a city problem. This is a part of what we talked about 2 weeks ago and episodes ago where we talked about the violence and what's going on in Philadelphia. It's only going to get worse. This makes no sense, but it's got to get worse to get better because you have to understand what baseline is. And then when we go below reference, that's when we know, okay, we got to start putting boots in asses and start cracking heads and start doing some things. But all in all, I'm good. I'm here. I'm recording. About to hit y'all with a new play on some things. So I know I'm good. That's going to lead me into my segue, some of the topics we got. I got Brittany Griner. I have Brittany Griner. I said Brittany Griner. I am all over the place. You know what I'm thinking about? Brittany Renner and Tiana Trump. I don't know why I'm thinking about those three lovely ladies
Not related at all.
at all. How about that? I don't know why I'm thinking about that. But Brittany Griner, Jason Weaver. Very random fact about Jason Weaver, the actor. He was in a movie called ATL. He was in Thea. He was in Moesha. He sang on The Lion King. Very random fact about knowing your business and doing the Googles. And then I have something about the violence. So, like I said, this is going to spearhead or get me into, or excuse me, segue into the violence in Philadelphia. 2 weeks ago, we talked about it, that just what's going on right now in the city, it makes no sense. And I hate to say it, it's going to get worse. So from the time we recorded, probably about 20 days ago, I attached a video of a group of 7 kids attacking an 83-year-old man. 83-year-old man was attacked by a group of kids, died or succumbed to his injuries. At first, I was a part or attaching myself to the narrative of what the media was putting out there about these kids are terrorists. And I jumped on it. Like, look, put the kids up. I don't care. This is what we got to start doing. I hate the fact that they're black children, but put them away. Once I went online and there was, I forgot the page, but a young man actually went to it and read everything. It's a lot more going on with this case than what meets the eye. And that's the way media plays things, where they want you to just jump into their narrative and not do your Googles and not cross your references, dot your I's, dot your T's. So, 2 14-year-olds, 2 10-year-olds, and like people younger than 10 were out at 2:30 in the morning for whatever reason. I don't understand that shit, why you're out at 2:30 with no shoes on, but whatever. Supposedly, this is a neighborhood thing. The old head that was out was just an old head. And if you live where I live, you see old heads out at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, doing God knows what, but they're grown, they're adults, they're not doing nothing stupid, you just mind your business. Supposedly, the older man asked the kids why they were outside. Now, the difference between my generation under me, and this new generation is that when an old person asked something back in the day, you didn't jump on their throat, you didn't disrespect them, you answered and you kept it pushing. Then after me, somehow, some way it went to, fuck out of here, old head, fuck out of here, dickhead, we don't talk to people. Now, with this younger generation, it's all that times a million. And that's what you saw in the video. Now, it's a neighborhood thing where supposedly the older man had chastised, or as we say in Philadelphia, would bid on the kids. Bid is basically bussing, ranking, joning, whatever you want to call it, but that's what we say in Philly. The old head would bid on them, the kids would bid on him. And I guess that night the bidding got too far. Somebody, look, dirty, you dirty young boy, fuck out of here, you dirty as shit. And that's a quick way for things to elevate and for violence to ensue. And that's what you saw, where the kids decided to take it upon themselves to just act the way they chose to act. Now, again, what the media didn't talk about was there's actually cell phone footage of it. One of the 10-year-olds actually recorded it, pleaded for the guys to stop, because all you see in the video is you just see the action. There's no audio. Everything is just visual, nothing audible. One of the 10-year-old kids recorded it, actually kept it in the cell phone. When after you saw the attack and the kids flee, one of the kids went home, told the parents called 911. That's how 911 was able to get there, and I guess assist him for however long he was there before he punched the ticket. Then one of the younger ones told the parents too. So that's why when you saw the older kids go in, turned in with their mothers, the other ones turned in with their mothers, they let the young ones go, because basically they copped to play. Like, look, we ain't do nothing, and we got the video substantiated. So that's what happened. We're talking about violence, and now the violence is getting closer and closer and closer, and younger and younger and younger and younger. You're talking about 14-year-olds and 10-year-olds that are out just catching rat for no reason. And we have to figure out how and why this is going on. I said something a few minutes ago in the sense of my generation. My generation was closer to the 60s and 70s. You have to understand, in the 60s and 70s, that was the super duper black revolution. It was more unified as far as like soul power, black power. This is what we doing. It's all of us against them, and them being the system. Not so much the white man if you were really there, because I don't want anybody to get misconstrued or think that I'm talking something stupid. It's the system. And through, I'm going to say it, fuck all that, through feminism, through a lot of other things, they found a way to break up the black household, the nuclear black household with the mother, the father, and the kids. It just ain't there. My generation, it took a village to police your community. I grew up that if I was outside past 9 o'clock, the neighbor at the top of my block could yell at me, probably pop me in the back of my head, and tell me get in the house. And as I went down my block, if there were people outside smoking weed, drinking beer, they knew my parents. And they had carte blanche to basically get me in the house sooner, because 9 o'clock, if you're 10, 11 years old, ain't nothing out there for you. Shit, when you turn a certain age, after 2 o'clock in the morning, it's nothing. You know what's open? Jail cells and legs. That's it. That's the only thing that's out there after 2 o'clock in the morning. And depending on where you are and what you got going on, you don't want the legs, you damn sure don't want no jail cell. So I grew up where my neighbors were able to get me in the house. And then once I got in the house, I got my ass whipped from my father. So I knew the definition of right and wrong. And if I even thought about it, I didn't do it. Now, there were some times I would chalk the ass whipping up like, yeah, this is worth ass whipping. This is definitely worth it. But I knew what happened there. Somehow, some way, that nuclear family broke up where the mother might not be there and the father's there, or the father's not there and the mother's there. So these kids are becoming, there's more latchkey kids where they're coming in and out and they're raising themselves. Also, another thing we talked about on one of the episodes about social media. Social media feigns the fucking connection. So these kids have access to a world that they have no idea how this world, it revolves, how it plays to them, how it doesn't play to them. Again, offense and defense. These kids have no idea how that works. They just think, oh, I can just go do everything. I play video games. I play Grand Theft Auto. I play all this shit. It's correlation. It's real. Nobody's gonna do anything. For instance, there was an instance in New York where a group of women, and they went to a fry place in like Brooklyn, and they destroyed the fry restaurant because the guy told them if you wanted extra sauce, it's $1.25. It was one of the sickest things I ever seen in my life. These women were acting like straight heathens. They destroyed everything. And they had all this bad bitch, all this big tough energy. And you know what happened? Because of social media, because of cameras, IP addresses, things of that nature that you idiots don't really understand, they were able to triangulate and figure things out with cell phones. And guess what? Got them in court. They caused over $50,000 worth of damage in that man's business. $50,000 worth of damage. And the funniest thing for me was seeing those people walk in court with the gas face. Like, fuck, they found me. Yeah. And you're going to have to pay your debt. I don't give a fuck who you are, black, white, Asian, whatever. You got to pay your debt. And that's what's going on right now. There is no more village mentality because now parents don't hold the kids accountable. I'm from the era, if a teacher called my parents and told them I was popping and dropping and popping and locking in class, mom would come, give me the thing. And you know the worst part about it as a kid, when your mom would pick you up, you're riding the car, your mom said, when your father hears this, you're going to get, what was it? I can't wait to call your father. Your heart would sink through your asshole. Like, oh shit, my dad's going to kick my fucking ass. Even if you were just literally popping and locking, you were acting up in school and you had to be held accountable for it. Now, I'm not a firm believer. No, I don't believe in putting your hands on kids. That's the way I was raised. You know, there's a lot of comedians say, look, an ass whooping kept me out of jail. But it also taught me how to be a reactive bully. It also taught me how to not articulate how I feel. It taught me how to be very, very like aggressive with people. So I'm not a big fan of you don't put your hands on anybody, especially a fucking kid. But it kept me out of jail. It got me to play college football. I did a lot of things because of ass whippings. A lot of things. So you have to figure out and measure your kid. But these kids aren't held accountable. Teachers are scared to call parents because a parent's going to come in and want to fight the teacher for telling me my kid, boo-boo, rook, nuck, or whatever his name is, hit another kid. They don't even want to take that responsibility. Parents can't talk to other parents about their kid because your kid is cursing, running around doing God knows what. This is where we are as I don't want to say society, but this is what's going on. This is becoming closer and closer to par for the course. And that's something we got to nip in the bud because this violence, it's attacking our children. When I was a kid, the people catching wreck, the people catching bodies, the people putting work in, they were old heads. They were crash dummies. They were 50 and 60 years old. They knew they had nothing going on. They knew, hey, I don't got much going on, but this is what I'm going to do. These are 14, 15, 8, and 10-year-old kids that, one, they don't even wipe right. They don't pee straight. They have a lot of things going on. They haven't seen life, and they're getting younger and younger. And the system is just like, yes, more young black children that'll never see the day of light. More young black children that won't solve cancer. They won't cure AIDS. They're not going to cure this energy crisis we have. That's how you have to look at this. You got to look at it. I hate the fact that that song we sang as kids, I believe the children are the future. That's the truth. Every time a kid gets killed, every time a kid gets smoked, every time a kid gets locked up, that is someone that can impact the world in a major, major way. Period. Black, white, Asian, whatever. Anytime a child has anything going on, that affects society in a big, big way. And that's what it is. And I hate to say it. I don't know if it's the music. I don't know if it's movies. I don't know if it's the social media. I think it's all encompassing. And we've just got to do a better job with that because you're seeing more and more of it. For instance, I forgot to talk about this. Back at the Authority, there was someone got shot at 15th Street, broad daylight. 19-year-old, 14-year-old. If you see the video, 19-year-old's outside of the train. Two dudes get off. The 19-year-old had words for one of the dudes. You see them both reach. The 14-year-old pulls a gun out, public, 56 people walking by, just smokes the kid. 14 years old, shot a 19-year-old. Takes off. Now, the only reason we got away and he was able to get where he had to get was because he had the poo shiesty on, typical black, the black hoodie, black sweatpants, everything. Got away. I think that when that high I think when the high came down of him actually using that gun, he realized, yo, I just smoked somebody and I'm 14. I don't know what to do. He got turned in with his mother. 14 years old, walking around with a pole on him. When I was 14 years old, you know what I was doing at 14 years old? Trying to figure out how I could get more bang for my buck with corner store candy and chips with $2. I ain't think about no Nas. I ain't think about none of that stuff because that wasn't my lane. There again, the village and the village community mentality was around. The old heads that saw, hey, we know you're going to be doing something. Yo, stay away from here. Don't go down there, shorty. Come up here. No, go back in the house. We'll come knock on the door, or you'll know when to come outside. We not doing that, and it's only getting worse. And I can't, for the life of me, think about that. I don't. And to that point, also wrap this up too, with the 7 kids. There was an interview. Alex Holly from Fox 29 actually did an interview with one of the mothers, and I wanted to watch it, but when I watched the small clips, and I know how they cut things up, but where this is going to sound messed up. Usually the media, they pick like the most aloof person they can and interview them and ask them the questions and then cut it even worse to make them appear like that. And hearing the mom talk, it's like, why would the lawyer let her talk? Like, no, I hate this is going to sound super judgy, but whatever. She shouldn't even be seen in public. You need to just be in the courtroom, pay your money, and let the lawyer do it. Let the lawyer do the lawyering thing. I don't know what's going on, but she made a statement and said that she's not a bad parent. Her kid's not a good kid. I don't know what to believe out of that statement, but you might need an assist in parenting. Because she was very adamant about my child never snuck out, and it's like, sure, she's never snuck out at 2:30 in the morning to go meet up with a group of kids to go do kid shit. I don't understand. There's got to be an assistant parenting. I don't want to see. This is where I am gonna wrap this one up when we're talking about the occurrence with the young lady or these kids. I don't want to see young black kids thrown in jail and the rest of their lives taken away. But there's a saying. There's something I learned a very long time ago. If you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. If throwing football numbers and putting these kids away, again, regardless of color, whatever, if you got to put these kids away and these kids got to realize there are repercussions for every action that you do, then that's what has to happen. I don't care what you tell me, 14, this, that, and the third. The one boy, he ain't look like he was 14. That kid looked like a whole grown-ass man. Whole grown-ass man. They're facing third-degree murder. I think it's up to like 30 or 40 years in jail. It's not. I don't. I don't think jail doesn't do anything for anybody, because when you go to jail for that long, you come out, you can't get a job because people are scared to hire you because of what you did. But isn't that the whole reasoning for sending you to jail? To try to amend some of the things and to try to walk the straight line. But as you get older and you come out, people aren't going to do it. So again, it's a cycle. You're going to put kids in jail for a good period of their life. They're going to come out with no skills, no social skills, no life skills, no nothing. And then guess what they're going to do when they come back out? Right back to doing the stupid shit. So it's just a cycle that affects everybody. Affects everybody. So, but if that's what has to happen to try to just curb some of this stuff with these kids, then so be it. Because I like my omelet with cheddar cheese and chives. And I think a lot of people like omelets. I prefer egg whites. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what has to happen, then damn it, that's what has to happen. But that's where I am with that one on the violent part. Random facts. Jason Weaver. We talked about something along these terms with, what's my man's name? Oh, man, it was something with Nike where the guy took, oh, my gosh, I forgot his name. I know his name on top of my head. But he took the stock. He took the cash from a different company, but didn't take the stock options from Nike. And if he would have took it, he'd be like a billionaire 9 times over. Forgot his name. And he was the first guy Nike ever offered anything. And he said no because he had to get the money. So Jason Weaver, for people that don't know, actually sang or did the majority of the vocals in The Lion King. And Disney offered him
Magic Johnson.
No, it was before Magic Johnson. It was before him. Magic Johnson, that was in
Track Runner?
Yeah, Pete. This was before him because he came out before Magic Johnson. You're talking about what's my winning time, where you saw the guy run up to Magic. You don't want to talk about that. There's a guy before him, literally before him. Nike wanted him to be their signature guy. It's not Rolando Blackman. I forgot his name. Look up Nike's first thing or whatever his name is. He didn't take it. Nike got passed over a few times because no one knew what Nike was. Nobody knew it. And Magic, they offered Magic the same thing. And Magic would have been a billionaire over. It still worked out for him. But this guy, I forgot his name. He actually was a pretty good player. He's an entrepreneur, owns a bunch of franchises and some restaurants. But
basketball?
Yeah, basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was the #1 pick before Magic. If you look it up, Nike offered him. He signed. I think he got like $30,000 because that's what people had to do. You remember the inflation. Money wasn't the same back then. But this guy, we talked about it with the Bambi Bonilla guy. She's not, I keep thinking like Orlando Workman, but it's not him. I forgot the guy's name, but it's like a crazy story when you look it up.
Spencer Haywood?
Yeah, Spencer Haywood. That's him. Nike approached him first and was like, look, we want you to be our flagship athlete. We want this, we want that. We can't offer you money. We can give you like $5 or $10,000, but we'll offer you a substantial amount of like stock options. And he was just like, what are those? I need green. And he chose to go with a different company. And if he would have took those stock options, he'd be a billionaire. Like a billionaire. Like I want to say 7-8 times over. And it's one of those things where he has to live with it. And he's done pretty well for himself, but it's just one of those random facts of business. But Jason Weaver, he sang the vocals on Lion King. And Disney offered him and his family $5 million. That's it. Take the 5. We'll be done business, and that's it. His mother was like, $5 million. When did The Lion King come out? 93, 94. It's almost 30 years ago. It's a lot of money for back in the day. But the mom had the foresight, and she knew if someone's offering us 5, what are we doing long term? What's the play long term? And the mom negotiated a deal with royalties. I forgot the terms of it, but it was a very, very favorable deal for the family. They took $100,000 and some crazy royalty split. Jason Weaver gets 3 checks a year from the Lion King. Over $400,000 a year. 3 times. Because Mom Duke said, nah, we're not going to do the short play. We're going to do the long play. He said he has a platinum record in his house for a nursery book he's never seen. So he receives the residuals from that. So look it up. I thought it was a pretty funny story that Disney offered him $5 million The mom negotiated to $100,000 and a crazy royalty to where he's literally set, his family set, because the mom knew what was going on and how to play it. So macro versus micro, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. That's a random fact about Jason Weaver that I thought was pretty cool. I bring to the table. And the last topic I'm going to bring up is Brittany Griner. and I'm gonna try to keep this one brief, and I'm trying not to go on my bag is bad. But if you've been living under a rock, WNBA superstar, center, all-world center, super badass athlete, Brittany Griner has been in Russia for a substantial amount of time because she tried to smuggle hash pens or some type of pen into Russia. Now, there's been a lot of comments, a lot of opinions. If this was a white man or a white woman, if this is LeBron James, this wouldn't happen. Nobody likes the WNBA. She's a woman and this, that, and that, and this. And it's like there's a lot of variables with this. So let's just deal with like the facts. There are certain countries that don't play that shit. Russia's one of them. Afghanistan, Kuwait, all them places. You go over there and you violate their laws, the penalty can be up to or death. So I understand where you're playing. They just don't play that. They don't tolerate drugs. They don't tolerate alcohol consumption. Now, that's just a fact. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with like religion. That's what these countries stand on. That's what they do. So right then and there, she made a bad decision trying to smuggle, sneak, whatever you want to do. You brought the devil's lettuce to this place. They don't tolerate the devil's lettuce. My concern or my issue is that this is becoming no, it is. Screw that. It definitely is a conversation. I don't understand why people have a hard time with this in the sense of if this was LeBron James, she would be out. Well, you know what? LeBron James wouldn't be trying to smuggle the devil's lettuce into Russia. She wouldn't. Oh, well, why is she in Russia playing basketball? Because the WNBA does not pay their players a substantial amount of money. And it's not fair. Is it fair? No, but it's business. Well, why don't they make enough money? Let's really talk about this, and here's a hard pill to swallow. Nobody watches the WNBA. Nobody. Here's the thing. You figure in this day and time with this being, I'll say, the most freest, sexually liberated country in the world, you would have more support from that demographic. So let's really talk about that. Why do NBA players make more money than WNBA players? Because people watch it. People watch the NBA. People love the NBA. People literally will pay hundreds of dollars. First of all, hold on. They will pay $100 to park their car, hundreds of dollars to go inside of a stadium, $100 to buy food, to sit inside of a stadium drunk and watch people play. That right there, money. People shell money out and people take an interest. Again, in this day and time, with things being so diverse and so open and so inclusive with everything, there is minimal support from that demographic. You'd figure that the WNBA would have more of support from women. How? What's the irony in that? The WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, is not supported by women. They play in a stadium that has, 20,000, 30,000 seats, but you have 1,100 people to come watch the game. That's not good business. I don't care what you tell me. It's not good business. Why are you tying business into this? Because that's why Brittany Griner had to go play basketball in Russia, because she's not making a decent wage. Now, is it fair to say that they should make the same amount of money as an NBA player? I think if we lived in like Disney, a Disney universe or like an alt universe, yeah, it'd be fair. But it's not. There's no interest. There's no interest. If you look at women's soccer is the shit. It's amazing to watch. I want to say they made $31 million when, what was that, 2018? The women's soccer team, they made like $30 million, right? Men's soccer or men's football, Chelsea, and I want to say another team, they're not even the most popular teams in that football league. They generated $9.1 billion. It's about money. That's what it's about. That's why she's over there. Is it fair? No. But you have to stop looking at things from that standpoint and start looking into things and understand it. Is it? I agree. They should have a better wage. They should fly private. They should have certain amenities. But where does that money come from? If people aren't going to support and kicking money up, where's the money come from? It's just going to pop out of the sky and just here, voila, money. Here you go. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. And unfortunately, she's being tied into being like a political, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a trade piece for some super badass guy. I forgot the guy's name, but the guy's like, he's, if you ever played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox, there was a certain scene, or you could, it's, if you know about what I'm about to talk about. But this guy's a really bad guy. They're trying to bargain and trade off for Brittany Griner. That just goes to show you how the world works. Somehow, some way, that guy's connected to money. And people, in some weird way, in some, alt universe, they're supporting this guy, and it's financial. Because America, this is what we do. It's a bargaining chip. Somehow, some way, it's going to be a flip. She comes home, and that's it. But when people say it's if this was this or she was that, she'd be home. Those people wouldn't put themselves in that predicament, one, and then two, you have to make better decisions. That's just what it is for me with Brittany Griner. I wish I had someone else to like bounce some things off of with that, but that's just my thought process with it. There's a movie called Broke Down Palace with Claire Danes, with her and her girlfriend. I forgot where and what country they were, but she fell in love with the guy. The guy put heroin inside of like their baggage. She goes to the airport. I want to say it's like Tibet or like Thailand or like, yeah, I think it's like Phuket, somewhere over there. They get to the airport and they find the heroin. You know what happened? They put him in jail. And it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look because they don't tolerate that stuff over there. They just don't. So that's kind of where I am with it. Be that as it may. You might not like my opinion, but that's just my opinion on it. I hope and I pray that she gets out safe. They got to figure something out because the pay disparity is egregious, but you have to look at the business aspect of it. If you want them to make more money, support them. Go out there, pay them money. Like I said, a certain demographic of people that want change and want this, go out there and support them. Why is it you got drunk men flashing their dad bods drunk with war paint on? Why can't you get some other demographic of people to go there and maybe not do that, but you can go support and get drunk and high-five other people and have fun and support them. Why can't you go do that? But that's just my opinion on that. That's how I feel. And, yeah, that is going to be Driving in the Right Lane. I don't know what episode this one is, 52, 53.
4.
But 54? No shit. All right, Driving in the Right Lane, episode 54. Pretty much, man, got to get going. Like I said, we're coming back with a different play, recording from different location, going soon. Tip of the day from me is not everyone who stands beside you believes in your vision. Take that, really, really like understand that, man. You know the mantra, consistency is key and keys open doors. My name is Clifford Sykes, a.k.a. the Uptown Supervillain, a.k.a. your cousin Cliff talking ish. I'm tapping out. Taylor, appreciate you, brother. Y'all be good. Stay black. Do your thing. Peace.